move on to next technical session, then we'll break for tea. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So now I request the chairman to escort Sanjib Sanghi onto dais. He is our next technical session speaker. And also welcome him with a floral bouquet. Please welcome Sanjib. Friends, it is my pleasure to introduce Sanjib to this August gathering. Sanjib is a tech-savvy fellow member of our institute, having more than 20 years of experience as an entrepreneur in international fintech industry. Presently, he works with more than 300 overseas clients and provides an end-to-end tech-based consulting and accounting solutions. Sanjib has authored the book, The Digital Professional, which provides a guiding light to his fellow professionals to upskill themselves by greatly leveraging technology in their operations. Sanjib loves to share his experience by providing training and counseling in hundreds of academic institutes, professional bodies, study circles and merchant forums. A multifaceted personality, Sanjib, he has also served as the Secretary of Eastern India Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and is currently Chairman of the IT Committee of Merchant Chambers of Commerce. Sanjib started the Bhavishya Kiran initiative to train young graduates in software detrimental to getting decent jobs. Sanjib is a digital accountant. His vision and mission in life are to bring technology to the CA profession, to empower his fellow professionals to achieve greater success in the profession by leveraging technology. A multifaceted personality, Sanjib. With this brief intro, I present him before you. Please welcome him once again.
Bangalore branch, a summit coordinator, all my friends over here, a very good morning to all of you. Good morning. I would like to thank Narasimhan for giving me this opportunity. He called me up and he said, Sanjib, you have been working with accountants for a long time. I want you to call you and present digital accountancy. Well, Narasimhan, when he started, he has given a complete picture of what are the emerging technologies and where the world is moving. And this is absolutely so. He made my job so easy. But in my entire presentation of another 40 minutes, we are only going to talk about accountants. And how accountants not only can transform their own practice, but also can take this as a new service line where they can go back to their clients and do the digital transformation for their clients. And the reason is very obvious. I always say that we are like doctors and all the software companies, so all the technology providers are like a pharmacist. So the client trusts us. The client knows because, every time when we see a technological seminar, there are many delegates who comes to me and says, Sanjib, everything is great. Please tell me exactly what I need to do. I go back to my home, I go back to my practice, and I see all these big things coming up. What is my first step? What should I be doing at the first step is what I need to understand. And how should I take this forward from here? I know that I have been a bit behind with the speed, with the change, but how will I take it up? And how will I become a digital accountant? That's the objective which we are going to talk today. So I just want to rush over all these. We all understand that all of these have gone because they have not adapted. Just what Charles Darwin always said, that it's not the strongest of the species that is going to survive, but the one which is going to adapt, and that is what has been covered by Mr. Narasimhan also. So if you see Nokia, Kodak, all these have gone because they have not changed with times. They have not changed with the current scenarios. But here something very interesting is there. Now look at these companies. These companies has not just installed technologies, they have understood the future customer, the future expectations of the customer, which means what we as an accountant need to understand is who are going to be our future clients. Is it the client which we have today are going to be our future client? That is what and what are the experience we are going to give to these future clients? The experience of sitting back in the office and waiting for us, the experience of searching for documents and we don't find them, the experience of following them up at the last moment and then they turned up and then we filed a return for them. What is that experience which we want to give our clients 5 years down the line, 2 years down the line? That is all something we need to build upon and draw upon. And that is something which all Airbnb, Oyo, Skype, all of them has done, and this has been taken care of. This is one interesting picture I always love to show all of you is spot the dinosaur. Can anybody see that? This is representing a university which has no seats. It's all converted into LMS, Learning Management System. We talk about Udemy. All the things which we are talking about, all the things which we share, even in fact the Bangalore chapter is actually putting all this in YouTube videos. This is a great thing which they are doing, great activity. But everything you find in Udemy, you find in Khan Academy, LMS, people are not going to universities anymore physically. They are all sitting at home and learning all the new technologies and adapting to it. What do we need to change? Our role, a complete makeover. This entire title of the subject today, the seminar is about transformation. And whenever the transformation word comes in, I always remember a very interesting story about a caterpillar who actually transformed into a butterfly. I know what happened. When it was going through that course of transformation, if you object that in between, it goes through a lot of pains. It's not an easy journey. And we are going to go through that slides slowly. It's not an easy journey of transformation. Just getting a software. One of the CA firm approached me and said, Sanjib, what do you think? Shall I install a practice management software and do you think a digital transformation will happen? I said, no. What if I create a website of my firm? Is digital transformation happening? No. It's about the mindset which we are going to talk about. And that's what Narasimhan sir has also said. The role has changed. We are now going to be a data specialist. We are now going to be an analyst, which that continuously, every session, every speaker is going to talk to you is we need to change our role from a basic accounting clerk to a data specialist. And I always say Munimjis, I always call like we were Munimjis, 50 years back, the one with the turban on the top and with dhotis. That's how our generation has started, with all those red books. When I started my articleship, 21, 22 years back, I still remember that we used to reconcile. Many of the senior professionals still sitting over will agree with me that we were reconciling, there was a 36 paise difference posting from cash book to a trial balance. It took me 3 days to reconcile that difference. The young generation will never be getting to know about all of this. So when we are able to match the debit and credit, we are very excited about it. Yeah, my trial balance has reconciled, my trial balance has worked. Today we cannot even think about it. So the role has completely changed, it's transformed. When this digital signature came in, we remember we are standing in the queues submitting our income tax returns. Today we are just submitting into the online department. Small examples where how we have transformed. But this is just a beginning. What we are still doing is a work of insight. And that is a challenge. And what we are talking today in this summit is about foresight. There's still a middle layer which is called insight. What are we doing for our clients? At the end of the, let's talk to ourselves. We are only doing the compliances work. We are getting the GST returns done, we are getting the tax audits done, we are getting all the basic work which is a cost to them. How are we providing them value for the business? How are we helping them grow? How are we coming up with the data and say, hey, this is the industry which you are working on, these are the industry standards, and this is the places where you are lacking behind. And show them the dashboard, show them those KPIs, work on simple Excel tools like Power Pivot, like BI, and present report which can be done. Like I request the chairman to organize sessions on Power Pivot, Power Query, Power BI. Those sessions, those technical sessions will help you how you can convert thousands of data files, Excel files into a simple report which is so extensive, so useful, and you go back to the client and say, hey, this is where you are standing today, and this is a journey 5 years down the line. This is a value proposition you are providing the client. And that is just an insight, which means you are taking analysis of what historical data you are working upon. But now the generation is going to the foresight. I've seen a tool called cash flow forecasting. It's already inbuilt in the software. When I was in US and I was attending this conference at Florida as well as in New York on Accountex, we are seeing softwares which are talking about cash flow forecasting, where you just rule up few permutations and the client gets to know that, hey, if I need 10,000 or 100,000 rupee, when will I get that? So it actually, if you reduce your account receivable or increase your payables, or if you do this and this is where your cash is going to come up. It's forecast what will happen after 3 months. This is the service which is expected from a chartered accountant today, of how you can forecast their business, how you can work on the insights rather than working on only the historical data, which is already there. And these are a few value propositions, like how you can manage opportunities. What if analysis? How many of us are working on what if analysis, which means we are going back to the client and saying, what if I increase my gross profit from 12% to 14%? What would be the impact on that? And we give them a study on that. What if I open a company? What if I add a new product line? What if I do this? What if I do that? How many of us are working on those services as a practice? And these are things which we can do start from today when we are going back to the client and say, we understand your industry. We work for almost 350 pest control companies only in US. We are giving several opportunities for different clients. We started with one client, but we stick that we want to only focus on pest control industry. And today we have more than 350 clients only in US. And what we are doing is that we are going back to them and say, your accountant will help get your tax returns done, will get your accounting done, but we understand your business. We understand your labor percentage. We understand what your gross profit should be. We understand how much you should spend on your advertising budgets. And the client says, you're right. You're an accountant and you understand the industry. You understand the pains of industry. You understand when a cash flow is going to be great and when a cash flow is going to be tight. We want to hire you. And we have started giving them infographic reports. We have started giving them benchmarking reports. We have those industry standards and we compare their data with the industry standards and give them the value propositions. I'm just giving you this case study. We bring this client on board, we dress up their chart of accounts to match with their requirements, which means we don't just have sales as a single ledger. We go in and divide those ledgers into 100 different GL codes, and then we actually talk to them and then say that this is the revenue line you need to work upon. These are the expenses you need to work upon. And they understand that yes, it's not about just printing a report, submitting it to the income tax department and a job is done. It's about working with them, partnering with them and increasing the value proposition. So from number cruncher, you need to become a financial advisor consultant. There's a big disconnect. If I go and talk to any good corporates, and this is an alarming figure, forget about all the challenges which the technology is giving to us. The biggest challenges is in us. What we see and what the client expects is a big divide between that. When we go and give them a report of a statutory audit report or anything, it is not a value to them. What they expect from us is not what we are doing. They have an ERP implement, we say, why don't you give us a print? Right? We don't know how to work on an ERP system. We don't know how to do audit using CAD, computer assisted audit techniques. So all those small little things which are now going to be very important for the client, how to audit an e-commerce environment is what we need to learn. So these are the business is transforming, the businesses are changing. how we can upskill ourselves to match with the expectations of the client in the changed environment is what we need to understand today. This is my favorite slide. I always say we are all married to work but devoid of romance. When we started this session, the chairman has told that in the busy schedule of tax audit, the extended tax audit, we all came here. But we are still into a lot of challenges. For the seniors, computerization is a big challenge. Now the client are expecting a one-stop service. Gone are the days where we are only doing income tax. Now they expect that in one firm, you are doing insolvency, you are doing GST for me, you are doing income tax, you are doing management services for us, everything as a single-stop solution. They are looking for a timely service, which means there is no black box. Imagine a system when we go from here on an Uber and we are traveling from here to, I don't know, Bangalore place, but let's say 10 kilometers from here. Every 5 seconds we check the Uber and we see the color of the road, we want to see the time when we are going to reach, we want to be engaged with that. Imagine a client giving us a document or a work and he has no idea what we are working on. So they are looking for that transparency in the work. They are looking for constant upgrading and updating them, the status of their work, where the work is standing. If you remember in McDonald's what is happening, and this is exactly expected from us as well. You know, when you go to US and you just click on the McDonald's and you go outside, your burger is ready. And we know exactly that this is the preparation going on. There are a lot of kitchens when we want to see how things are happening. So client wants to see what we are working on, where is my work standing, and I'll show you the system where this is possible. Heavily dependent on trainees or staff. Learn, unlearn, relearn, we all have undergone that. Disruptions, value additions, tracking daily tasks. You know, we have people in our organization, but do we know what they have achieved at the end of the day? I'll ask you a few questions once we go over the slide. And many of our processes are manual, based on Excel. In fact, we have seen people who are putting up the income tax file on an Excel, and every time they are customizing that. They don't have even a software for a tax return filing. So the question which is being asked to all of us is, are we digital today? How much digital we are, which Narasimhan has said about the digital competency model. But is your social media good enough to attract future clients? Now, how are we sourcing our client? Are we still going through the process of referral? Are we still going through the process wherein a client refers another client and get that new client, or the client is growing and they're getting the client? How are we working on that pull model? And to explain that, let me give you a very good example. Like if I ask you in Bangalore, who is a good expert in GST? Can you tell me a name, a chartered accountant who you think is an expert in GST? Anyone? Who comes as a regular speaker at the institute? Maybe Madhukarji? Right? You have heard about him? Sorry? Hiragalgi, right? How is he popular? Like, I'm just giving him as an example because he's a local guy over here. But how is it possible? Because he's putting up articles on Facebook. He's writing blogs. He's putting all the social medias and he's going and giving lectures. If you are a subject expert or if you're an industry expert, why don't you promote yourself? And that is not against ICI Code of Conduct. If you are promoting a subject, if you are writing a blog on a subject, if you love a tea industry, why don't you start researching on that industry and start going back to the industry and saying, I understand your industry better than any other accountants, and start creating case studies for that. So you can be an industry expert or a service expert, and that is what needs to happen. That's all about how you can use social media to brand yourself, how you manage your data. Like if I ask you a question, do you know the open work in your organization? It's a very, very favorite question I always ask. Do you know right now sitting over here, how many GST returns are pending? How many tax audits are pending? How many of each and every compliance work, which is like a ticket for you, are pending as on date? That's like an opening stock for you. If you don't know that, how are you going to manage that? If you can't measure it, how will you manage it? So you need to have a practice management software as early as possible. Or even if you don't want to have that, at least install a right macro in Excel where this Excel can automatically update the work status of each and every person working in an organization. Which means as soon as they come to the office, imagine a scenario, they get a list of work which is generated by the system, which tells them that these are 5 tax audit, 2 GST returns, and one of these which you need to complete by today. And you are not delegating that work, the system is delegating that work. You all can build that system. There are many good softwares. You guys go into Google and type in practice management software, you find hundreds of softwares all on cloud. How many of us are installing it? Anybody here who is using practice management software as of now? 1, 2. So this is the difference. And it will ease so much of a time because you are spending 50%. I'll give you an example why I'm trying to convince you. Maybe I'll not be done with my entire presentation, but if I can give you a few important thoughts, that will be very easier for you. 50% of our time we are spending on delegating work, making them understand the work, making them realize that, hey, I've told you day before yesterday and still you have not done this work. This is something which you need to do. So we become the priority manager for them, which the system can do. How do you manage your contacts? We go and exchange visiting cards, and then we keep it aside. And those are today's most valuable information. How many of us has installed camcord in the app, in the mobile app? Anyone? 1, 2, 3. This is an OCR technology. I'll give you a very good example of OCR technology, and thanks, Narasimhan has not covered that. Alright, when you're working with the US, OCR technology is completely taking up the finance and accounting world. Imagine you're going to a petrol pump, okay, and you take a fuel of 2,000 rupees, they give you a bill, right? You just take a picture of that. This is what we are doing practically today in our office. You take a picture of that, and automatically what will happen is the picture automatically scans the information. It understands that it is coming from this petrol station. This is the amount, this is the date. Goes and enters that into your accounting system. Creates the vendor. Checks if the vendor is already there. If the vendor is already there, do we have the payment details for that vendor? If it is authorized, send the payment to him. Reconciles your accounts payable. Post the entry. Updates your bank. Reconcile your bank. All by the system. Isn't it a logical process? So imagine you just took a picture, all this event happened automatically, only with a technology called OCR, which is optical character recognition, where you just scan something, it automatically picks up everything. The entire accounts payable management system across the world, bill to pay, what he was talking about, is through an OCR technology, which is so relevant today. And imagine you have 500 clients, and one of your clients calls you and say, hey, what happened to my GST return? You say, let me check, let me get back to you. And then you search for the people or the person who has worked on that file and say, this file mein kaun kaam kiya tha? And then after 1 or 2 days you get to know the file, then you get to know the status. But if you have the right tool of CRM, anybody here who has installed CRM in your organization, in your firm? One person. Please take a note of this. There are plenty of free or very cheap software like from Salesforce, from Zoho. I am not trying to promote any product, but you can find thousands of products which are available on CRM, which will help you engage with your client, understand your client, do the right invoicing for them, get organized through all this. These are your infrastructure. Your infrastructure is not going to be a lavish office. All these cloud tools, all this infrastructure, all these cloud computing tools is going to be an infrastructure in days to come. So as I said, just using social media, just creating a website, or just installing a software. I don't want to name a software company, but he approached me and said, he was into practice management. He said, Sanjib, you had been a brand ambassador on digital accounting. You tell me one thing. I had in your area there are more than 25 or 30 good firms who have taken my software. And after a year, only 50% renewed. What is the problem? Is my software bad enough? I said no. You know what is happening? If a company comes to you and says, sir, this is a great software, and you look at it and you say, wow, these are the great reports, this is something which I can manage, everything is great, all right, install it. And you say that my responsibility is over. The software will never work. It is your leadership which is important. You need to continuously work on that, then your team will follow. Because for them, it's like a CCTV. So you need to work on that, you need to make a discipline, you need to continuously work so that everyone is getting into that system, feeding in the data, and then getting out the reports out of that. That is the mindset which is required. Everyone is going to talk on this, the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set. Why mindset is important? I've been running firm for 30 years, Sanjib. Do you want to tell me that I'm wrong? A mindset gap. Do you want to say that I'm not able to manage my practice? No, sir, your knowledge and experience is very important, but you have to get transformed. You have to adapt to this new culture. You have to adapt to this new system. And you have to have a partner with you or a support with you who helps you in this technological advancement. I don't want you to change, but if you can change, that would be great. But at least if this is the mindset which is required, shifting from the legacy system. I've been doing this with my client for so many years. Why all of a sudden I need to change? All this mindset game is important because it's not just about technology. When Uber came in, all these good companies who came up with disruption, they were not all about technology. They were all about understanding their future customers. So what you need to see, going back, is see, what will my client expect 5 years down the line from me? What are the current problems I am facing? And then you can create your own digital roadmap, that what are the 10 priorities I need to work upon. And then start deconstructing that into process, understanding each and every aspect of it, and start building software and application around it to support that system. But more importantly, you need to work and talk to your team. That we all need to go on a mission, and it is called a mission, a revolution. We all need to go into a mission of transforming our firm completely so that the client comes back to us and say, wow, you guys have changed. I was looking for this report. I was never getting these reports from you. I was never getting this feedback from you. I was never getting this clear, transparent, operational system from you. I was not supposed to call you. You are sending me reminders like crazy. These are the expectations you need to fulfill. I need to learn how to do that. The skill set, what you need to change on you is be forward-looking, innovative, insightful, social. Social is very important. Like, how many of us have a LinkedIn account? That's good. How about, I'm not asking about Facebook. How many on Twitter? Okay. How many of you have actually written a blog? How many of you have a website of your firm? See? Not even 20%. This is important. Now the question comes, Sanjib, what are you talking? Do you think if I create a website of mine, do you think a client will come to me and knock my door and say, hey, I got your website and I want to work with you? Yes, sir. What will happen in that website? That website is an online visiting card, 1. It is talking about your specialization, 2. It is talking about all the great things you are doing in that tea industry, 3. It is talking about all the research which you have put forward into that particular industry, and your website will portray that you are an expert into that tea industry. Now that tea industry can be forensic audit, that tea industry can be any example, whatever you expertise upon, but that website is going to talk about you and your specialization. And once, if I am going to Google and I am looking for someone in Bangalore who is an expert in tea industry, your website comes to an algorithm of Google, and I can go into that, I can go into your contact us and I can call you. That's how you get a client. That's how you're going to get clients across the world. I don't have a single Indian client. All my clients are from US. And this is how I'm getting clients every week. What are the tools? I'll just give you a few examples. Cloud computing is get your accounting on cloud. Anybody who is doing accounting on cloud, one hand, two hands. This is going to be so important. Imagine why accounting on cloud. What's the difference? Do you know that? It syncs with your bank. It syncs with your GST. It syncs with your ROC. It syncs with your TDS. Which means you don't need to. You have heard about the word called connected banking? Yes, ICICI Bank has just launched with Shahrukh Khan. Which means, imagine on Tally, you are passing a payment entry and you don't need to go to the bank. Just passing an entry on Tally and the client gets paid, the vendor gets paid. It's connected banking which is coming up. That is all possible through online accounting using whatever software you want to use. Note taking. Evernote, very simple, very basic, very cheap. In fact, it's free. OneNote, Notion. You can take a picture of this or can send this presentation to the chairman to be circulated to all of you. Scheduling, like calendaring. You want to call a client, schedule their visits. There is a good software called Calendly where you can book your appointments. I want to use a word called Python here for data analytics. For all the young generations, I'm trying to say, learn Python. That's the ultimate feature. Spend your money on that. And it's very cheap. If you learn Python, you will be a distinguisher, differentiator. Every company is looking for you as a chartered accountant and knows Python. Wow, what a great combination. A chartered accountant knows 9. A chartered accountant knows our language. Wow, now we are talking some sense. Work management softwares, customer relationship management software, communication. Like these are tools which are available. We just need to go install and start using it. And these are not the final tools. This is just to give you a start, just to give you a beginning. Now the next level. Alright, now I become digital. Now I am very organized. I have got everything in place. Now I want you to make this as your service line because you are the most trusted person in a client's organization. Whatever you say, the client believes. So not only you transform yourself, now I am going to take you to the next level. We are going to transform your client, and that's a new service opportunity for you. Be a digital transformation angel or a consultant to do digital transformation for your clients. And again, the same problem for your clients, what problem you are facing. So once you solve your problem, you can easily solve the problem of the client. There are problems of pricing, talent, cash flow, scaling business. All of these are the problems. And how many of us are addressing this problem? I want to see one show of hand. If you see all these problems, except for compliance management, is there any problem which we are managing today? Why will the client love us? Why will the client grow with us if we are not addressing their problems? And we are like, even if they want to get their son or daughter married, they call us. So they are like a so good friend of us, and we are not working on these solutions. The question may come, do you think the client will pay us for this? They are happy getting all these things free from us. I'm telling you, you have to transform. These are going to be your service lines. And this journey, please make sure in the digital transformation journey, it's very, very important that you cannot delegate or you cannot only do. You have to carry and take all the person in your organizations on board for the transformation. It's very important that the lowest person in your organization understands what we are trying to do. Because I'll give you a case study in the later part of the slide where we are working with 1 or 2 consulting companies and the challenges which we are facing and how we can address them. Because there will be a huge resistance, and the resistance is only the blockage of mind. There is no other resistance. How can we do this? Is this possible? Is this not going to break up the system? Yes, it may. It may break up the system. But yes, we have to go through that journey. So transformation is more into process, talent, leadership, technology and growth. These are more 5 aspects which you need to think about. What is the change in my process? Which means if I am doing this GST return, what am I doing in this? How am I collecting the document? How am I giving the information to the client? How am I getting the documents from them? How am I processing it? How am I delegating to my staff? Who is uploading the return? What is the check and balances over there? How is that getting reported? How is that getting invoiced? Create a flow chart. And then see, wow, it's such a wastage of time. How many of these steps can be automated? How many of these steps can be trained? Is what you need to work upon. So these are 5 steps which you need to perform. Defining a roadmap of what changes you want to bring in your organization. Then identifying the technologies. And you can get all of this in Google. And if you ask me a question, Sanjib, what is the best software for this? There is no answer for it. It's a journey. You take a software on cloud, spend 3-4 months on that. You don't like that software, go to another software. But you will automatically learn what is the best thing I've learned in this software. And all your data will migrate into the new software in just a click of a second. So you will not lose anything. Every cloud computing tool allows you a data migration from one software to another software. Constructing a talent pool, determining your key performance indicators. What is more important for me today? That you do, and then establishing this new business process. BPR, what we have learned in the past and we have forgotten. I love this slide, is process, policies, practice and people. We have to deconstruct and then reconstruct, which means the only way possible is a very good example is first we need to disrupt ourselves and then transform ourselves, which means we need to understand that what we are doing is wrong. It is not going to work. We have to accept it. What is great in what I am working, what is not great in what I am working, and how I can transform. Start believing in that, start talking to yourself more and more, because right now in this session I am only talking about the mindset. Once you start believing that there is something wrong which I am doing, through which I am not able to go forward, you start making your own digital plan. And there are 3 objectives which you need to only focus upon. How I can reduce my cost, increase reliability and increase efficiency. Only these 3 objectives are more important in our case as an accountant. And make a game plan for 30 days. Again, a timeline is very important. It cannot be a plan forever. What am I achieving in these 30 days? What am I achieving in the next 60 days? Like I was talking to the chairman, he was saying, I have a plan for this, another 2 months, it will be only a technological seminars. This is the plan, right? What is your plan? Every day cannot be the same day. What am I achieving this year and this month? What is the new thing which I am going to do this month? What is the change which I am going to bring in my organization now? These are the things which you need to think about. And how you can be a problem solver. Instead of a compliant agent, how you can be a problem solver is what your future is going to be. Because what he has just shown you is that our job is going to go away. But our job will not go away if you become a problem solver for all our clients. I have defined 8 different ways and will complete in these 8 slides. Go paperless. Again the OCR is coming to picture. How many of us are paperless? When we say paperless, what do you mean by that? You don't have a single file in your office? Yes or no? Good. I'll tell you a system. There are system, document management system which are available. We use HubDoc. We use a lot of others or DocuWare. What happens is that once you scan a document, automatically through OCR, picks up the bank statement, understands that this is the bank statement of this particular bank for this particular client, for this particular month, for this particular account number. It saves the file. And you go back to the system, you say, I want to get the document or this GST return for this particular period, for this particular client. It automatically pulls and shows it to you. You don't need a file cabinet, so go 100% paperless. That's the first mantra. You may take 3 months, you may take 6 months, you may take 1 year, but this is the ultimate decision you need to take to yourself, that I need to go paperless. Manage work anytime from anywhere. If I get internet, I can show you what is happening in my office. Who is working on what system? A client calls me and says, Sanjib, what happened to my tax return? I said, please tell me your name. He gives his name, I just type in his name, at a click of a second, I get to know who this client is, what is he paying me, what are the annual work I am doing, what are the monthly work I am doing for him on a regular basis, what are the open work as on date, why is it open, how many documents are pending, what are the queries which we have raised to him and he has never answered, and how many times we have raised this query. If I get this entire dashboard at a click of a second, I can tell you, sir, your work is pending because we have called you 4 times, we have sent you mails on this and this date, and we have never got document 3, document 6 and document 7 from you, and as soon as you get this document sent to us, our system will get to know about it, and in 2 days you will get your tax return. The client will hang up the phone. This is the level of system you need to build in your organization. Managing work anytime from anywhere. The third important thing, employee motivation. We don't do documentation for the employees. We source employees, you know him, I know him, alright, come to my office. How are we using different recruitment companies or Naukri.com, jobsahead.com, monster.com? We can filter best of the best talent because we are into a people industry. We need the best talent, whatever may be the price. And I'm telling you, this is an investment for you. This is an investment for you because you are going to transform yourself. So you are not going to say, alright, I used to make 40% profit in my business, I don't want to disturb that. In transformation, you have to decide that you are not going to make any money for another 2 years of your life or 3 years of your life, but you are going to completely upgrade or transfer yourself from this level to that level. That should be the decision you have to take internally into your organization. If you don't change that mindset, how is it going to work? So documentation of employees, balanced scorecard, setting up scores, KPIs, training. How many times we go back to them and train them every time? This is how you need to do your GST return. This is how you need to do your tax audit. Well, I give you a very simple solution for this. There are softwares like TidyTake. There are softwares like Camtasia. You don't even need to remember. Just go into Google and type in screen recorder system. Now, what will happen? Imagine you will say, all right, let me file a GST return. You are speaking and you are working on your screen. Your voice and whatever you do on your screen gets recorded into a single video. And that becomes a file. And then you go back to your team and say, whenever you want to file a GST return, go through that video. Your training is done. Forever. And if there's any update, you go and update that video. Right? Simple system. There are many screen recording systems which are available. Reputation. Reputation. How we can use social media to build a reputation. We discussed on that. Reporting. What are we doing on the reporting side? What do we report to our clients? Nothing. Start with a 1-minute manager report. I always talk about infographics. You know what infographic is? Information in a graphical format. Which means today the client is looking for a 1-minute manager report, which means they want to understand the entire business in 1 minute. So you need to design that 1-pager report. Invest on that. Forget about whether the client will pay for it or not. Invest on that 1 or 2-page report. Start giving it to your clients. You will say, well, I've spent several hours to build that report and I've never talked to the client to pay for it. But if you start doing that, the client will say, wow, this guy has done something special for me. And they will start appreciating it. Out of 100 clients you do for, 20 clients will start appreciating it. 10 clients will get on board that I want this report for the future months. And your business starts, your practice starts. So quickly, I just want to give you the tools. So we have Google Drive, small tools which you all can use. I'm not giving you any fancy. No. These are the questions which you need to answer. How shall I know all the open works in my organization? How can I memorize all my recurring works? And these are the questions which can get answered through the practice management software which you need to have. How can I know in one quick shot the status when a client calls? How can I follow up clients on open queries and document I need and send auto reminders? All this can be managed. The client will automatically receive an email that, hey, we need A, B, C, D, E documents from you. Productivity of your team, productivity of your client. For timesheets, you can use Evernote, you can use Google Calendar, you can do whatever you want. There are several thousands of T-sheets are there. You can use timesheet for your management. Recruitment, try and have any good HRMS software, which is called Human Resource Management software. You go in Google and find Human Resource Management, install one of them. Whatever software I am suggesting you, total cost will be maximum 25,000 rupees per year. But that will be a complete infrastructure for your organization. CRM software, menu card for your firm. Like why don't we design a menu card just like a 5-star hotel, where we can get a good menu and we don't even understand it. But we generally write in our invoice, we have done a tax audit, we've done a GST return, which is comparable. Why don't we give enough information to that invoice to show a right menu card of our office? This is one menu card which I have shown to you. Excel is very, very important for all of you. Get more and more advanced. Get into Power Query, Power Pivot, get into VBA on Excel, get into Python, get into R, get into that level so that you can start working on more and more analysis of data. Logging, and these are the reports I'm talking about. Power BI, please learn it. This is a Microsoft product. Please learn this. Power BI. This is going to help you. These are all the important tools which you need for your growth as a digital accountant. To build these reports like what you have seen over here, all these reports we are doing it for our clients. A speedometer for our client. They understand very basic language. They don't understand a chartered accountancy language. They understand very basic that whether we are on a red zone or we are on a green zone or we are on a yellow zone. That's all they understand. They want to measure the health of their organization. Cybersecurity, we already have a session on this. And just one last slide for you is a case study for a company like you. The challenges which they had was, they had open work and queries not organized. Their debtors balance they were not able to know what the outstanding is. In fact, many of you must be saying that we don't even know what a total outstanding is. Or do we all know our total outstanding? At a click. Many of us don't know. Manual timesheet, no documentation management, productivity not determined, client priorities, profitability not determined, all contacts in boss mobile, and owner is overwhelmed with work. These were challenges we got as a client, and we installed work management, we installed CRM, we installed Dropbox, and we installed online accounting tools, Google Contacts and Evernote, and we're so happy with this basic solution. In 1 month, the entire thing is done. Just installing these basic things, you can get into a first level. This is not the end. This is the first beginning which you can make up. ABCD is all done. And thank you. I just want to finish up with one more slide. So the most important thing which I wanted to share with you is that be the change. First you need to change yourself and then change your client. That is only going to turn out to you to be a digital accountant. That's the future we all need to carry out. Thank you all so much.
Friends, change your mindset, become a problem solver, you will not lose your job. This is the first you disrupt yourself, then transform. Speaker explained in detail the ways and means to transform. Let us thank him for his precious time and valuable knowledge. I request the chairman to come forward and present a memento to speaker as a token of appreciation and gratitude. Please thank the speaker for our applause. Thank you, Sanjib. Friends, let us break for tea and reassemble as soon as possible.